The world is changing faster than ever, and if you feel the ground shifting beneath your feet, you're not alone. There's this quiet storm brewing, something that's messing with the rules you thought were set in stone. For years, founder-led companies stood as the kings of innovation, the wild, untamed forces that shaped industries and sparked revolutions. But today, a new player is stepping into the ring: limited partners. And with their rising power comes a question burning hotter every day. Could the rise of LP influence mean the fall of founder-led companies? Let's get real. You've seen it. You've felt it. That gnawing tension when you know deep down that the heartbeat of a company, the fierce passion, the reckless drive of the founder, is starting to get muted. More LPs are calling the shots, steering decisions, shifting gears based on numbers and strategies that live outside the original fire that launched these ventures. It's like watching the soul of something once wild and free slowly get tamed by spreadsheets, by cash flow reports, by the cold logic of risk management. And that hurts. It really hurts because founder-led companies have this raw, messy, beautiful magic that can't be replicated. So what happens when LPs start to hold the reins tighter? When the whispers of doubt from the price per share become louder than the shouts of vision from the founder's mouth? Suddenly, the very thing that made these companies unstoppable, their founder's obsession, their refusal to play nice, starts to fade. Founders get boxed in by expectations. Innovation gets sanitized. Risks get calculated out of existence. The fire dims, and the company becomes just another name on a list. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about power or control. It's about survival. Because the world outside is still crazy and chaotic and full of problems screaming to be solved. Founder-led companies thrived because founders weren't afraid to get their hands dirty, to break the rules, to fight tooth and nail for something that seemed impossible. When LPs overpower that energy, companies risk turning into safe, predictable machines, and in that safety, they lose the very thing that could make them legendary. For those watching this is your call to wake up. This is not just a story about some other company or a trend on the edge of corporate boardrooms. This is about your future, about what kind of world you want to help build, even if you're just an LP reading these words right now. Because you hold incredible power, but with that power comes responsibility. You can choose to be the cage, or you can choose to be the key. Let's talk about what you can do to keep the magic alive while still making smart investments. It starts with reverence for the fire in founders. Not words, real respect. It means listening, not just nodding in meetings, but truly hearing what makes founders tick, what wakes them up in the middle of the night with restless energy. Founders are not supposed to fit neatly into financial models. Their unpredictability is their strength. If you clamp down with rigid structures or relentless milestones, you'll crush the thing that can't be measured yet, but will change everything. The first real move you can make is cultivating a partnership mindset. This means going beyond just money and just oversight. It's about walking the path with founders, walking into the messy trenches, even when it feels uncomfortable. Challenge your instincts to control and instead build trust fiercely. Ask questions that matter, not just metrics, but motivations. What scares the founder? What dreams keep them pushing through chaos? Get inside the story of their becoming, not just the numbers of their doing. Second, embrace uncertainty like a friend, not an enemy. LPs love certainty. It feels safer, easier to package into reports. But groundbreaking companies don't come from extremes of safety. They come from the edge, from where people dare to think and act differently. You have to be willing to sit with risks that don't have neat answers. This means not pushing founders to conform to traditional growth models too soon. Let them experiment, fail, pivot, support the cycles of reinvention. Third is selective amplification. Align with founders who refuse to settle, who burn with a fire most don't see. Don't chase every shiny trend or safe bet. Find those rare few who will fight, burn, and innovate through any storm. Your role isn't to herd founders into the fold, but to guard the flame, protect it fiercely, and give them room to rise beyond what anyone expects. Now hear this. Transformation doesn't happen in boardrooms filled with approval votes and sanitized presentations. It happens in moments of raw truth and gritty action. LPs need to create spaces where founders can be brutally honest, where failures are not casualties, but learning storms, where innovation means breaking down to build up again. This might seem daunting. You might feel trapped between expectations of returns and the desire to fuel real change. But here's the secret. The most powerful impact you can have isn't measured in quarters or portfolios. It's measured in the freedom you grant founders to become more than their last success. Freedom isn't just a fancy word, it's the oxygen founders breathe when they're creating what was once thought impossible. Imagine a new kind of relationship, one where LPs are allies in the truest sense, not gatekeepers, not controllers, but partners who honor the wildness of innovation and understand that sometimes to build the future, you have to embrace chaos, uncertainty, and relentless passion. In this new paradigm, founders reclaim their sovereignty, their will becomes their weapon, and the company stops being a product of market pressures and becomes a living force. LPs don't suppress the founder. They become their amplifier, their critical friend, their patient observer, who knows that eternity favors the long game. This means changing how success is measured. It means looking past immediate returns and asking, how is this company growing into something that reshapes reality? How is the founder transforming themselves and the world? What legacy are we building beyond profits? If your gut is telling you that the old ways aren't cutting it anymore, that the founder spirit is being suffocated by the weight of expectations, that's not paranoia, that's insight. And insight is a call to action. Lean into that tension. Use it to fuel a new approach to investing, one driven by patience, by deep understanding, by a refusal to settle for mediocrity. You have a chance here to flip the script, to be on the right side of a revolution that elevates creators, not shackles them, to unlock the power of the few who burn bright enough to free the many. Founder-led companies were once the heartbeat of change. If LPs rise with the right mindset, one that doesn't smother but unleashes, they can become the wind beneath those wings, not the cage around their flight. So remember this. Power without respect kills. Control without trust suffocates. Influence without empathy destroys. But influence, rooted in belief, patience, selectivity, and courage, can resurrect the fire when it feels like it's fading. The question isn't whether LP influence will rise. It's already rising. The question is what kind of rise it will be. Will it be a slow death for founder-led companies, or will it be the catalyst that pushes both founders and LPs into a new era of radical collaboration and transformation? The answer lies with you. And right now, the world is waiting, breathless, desperate, ready to witness who dares to burn and who decides to bend. This is the moment to decide. Will you be the spark that ignites or the hand that puts out the fire? Because those who refuse to bend, those who choose to burn, will always be the ones who create what's next.